Yeah, it happened again. Well, no, they were knocking on my door and they said that if I don't go follow their way, then I'm going to burn in hell for eternity. And so I tried to say, well, this other group that knocked on my door last week said that their way was the right way, but you're saying your way is the right way. So if your way's the right way and then their way's the right way, then which way do I go? I didn't know. So I just brought them in, gave them some cookies, and locked them in the basement. Yeah, yeah. Oh shit, the camera's on.
Rotten pumpkins, I invoke the Pumpkin King.
Guess you guys overheard that conversation. I mean, what else are you supposed to do with all of these people beating on your door saying, this way is the right way? Come to my church because my church, my group, we do it right. Or this other group, so, we do it right. Anyway, just feed them some cookies and lock them in the basement. It's all over. Don't have to worry about it again. And I always let them know that I follow the good book. I do. Maybe not quite the same. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Rotten Pumpkins. I am your host, Quintavious von Baron Wolfenstein VII, and today we are going to take a look at two movies, and they're going to go head to head because they were 2024's top contenders for religious horror, suspense thriller, and one epically wins and one, in my opinion, epically fails. But that's not everybody's opinion. We're talking about Heretic and Longlegs. So we're going to start by taking a look at Heretic. Heretic is a 2024 American horror film written and directed by Scott Beck and Brian Woods. It stars Sophie Thatcher and Chloe East as two Mormon missionaries who attempt to convert a man, Hugh Grant, who is more dangerous than he seems.
Hi, good afternoon, ma'am. Are you interested in learning about our Savior, Jesus Christ? Hi, good afternoon. Hi, my name is Sister Barnes, and oh my gosh. Are you interested in learning more about the Church of Jesus Christ?
Come on in.
We can't come inside unless another woman is present.
My wife is home. Does that count?
Great.
You like pie?
Yeah.
My wife has pie in the oven.
So this is the basic gist of the movie, but it's so much bigger than that. I was very reluctant to watch Heretic initially. I didn't really watch the reviews. I really wasn't interested. I was never a big Hugh Grant fan. Hugh Grant was huge in the 90s with the ladies.
Yeah, I know. I mean, yeah, I know. It's great.
He was doing all of these romantic comedies and romantic dramas, and I just, it wasn't my scene. Now he's in this movie, and this movie I forced myself to watch, and boy, am I glad I watched it. There's something about this script and the cast. Well, actually, it's everything. The filmography. It's set in this mountainous area. Hugh Grant's character his house is way up. It looks like it's way up on the mountain. I mean, it zooms up into the mountain, but we never truly see exactly where his home is. And it's a cold, snowy night when all of this takes place. The gist of it is these two Mormon girls are out recruiting for their church, which is what they do. Because, if you didn't recruit for your religion, then it would slowly fade away. So these girls are out recruiting, and Hugh Grant's character's name is on a list of those that are potentially interested. So they go to his house because he's interested, and they're not doing so well recruiting. So they think, okay, this guy's going to be, a potential recruit for our numbers. Because if they don't recruit, they get beaten and thrown in a basement. I'm just kidding. That's not true. I take that back. That's what I do to them. No, that's not what I do. Definitely not. I don't feed them cookies and throw them in the basement. Anyway, They knock on the door, and it's starting to rain, and it's cold and blustery and windy. They talk. Hugh Grant is very charming. He's very handsome in the movie. He's older, well dressed. His house looks almost like a small castle, maybe, nestled on this side of the mountain. He invites the girls in because it's nasty outside so that they could talk. But the girls say it's church policy. We can only come in if there is another female present within the home. So Hugh Grant says, sure, his wife is home. And in fact, she's cooking blueberry pie. I don't want to give away any spoilers. This movie, get through the first few minutes where you're introduced to the girls and make it to the part where they're at the door with Hugh Grant. And this movie will put some claws into you, and it will not let you go for the entire duration of the movie. This movie has the ability to hook you and hold you with its dialogue and its actors. Sophie Thatcher and Chloe East were incredible in this movie. Their chemistry working together. They were two totally different characters in the movie, and they had two completely different personalities. And one is a little bit naive, and another one is a little more street smart, even though they're Mormons. So they played off of each other really well, and it was phenomenal. It was fabulous just watching the two kind of go together. It seemed so realistic at times that you think you're in there with them and that you're watching what's going on as part of their group. That aside, Hugh Grant, it's difficult to read him. Is he a nut job? And this is in the beginning. The girls are trying to figure out this guy. He's going on and on and on, and they're talking about religion. And he's so charming and he's so well spoken, but now they're starting to fear him because the front door is locked. They can't get out. He says it's on a timer. So essentially, these girls are stuck in the house with him. And that's not really a spoiler because this is kind of how the movie starts, because they're stuck in the house with him for a long time. And I'm not going to go into any more plot because then we're going to get into some spoiler territory. I will tell you this. I was thinking to myself, how did they label this a horror movie? This is not a horror movie, is what I continuously kept thinking to myself. And then we cross a hurdle and I go, oh shit, yes, this is a horror movie. And by the end of it, I was like, wow, this was a great horror movie. So without spoilers, we're going to kind of end that there. So what did I like? The cinematography was fabulous. It was dark. It was cold. It was dreary. They were in this really interesting home of Hugh Grant's character. And yeah, I don't want to give any spoilers because the home itself plays a major role in this. The home itself is basically a casted character, in my opinion. You'll see if you watch the movie. So I loved the cinematography. I loved the script. I loved how the actors played off of one another. And it seemed a lot of it may have been improvised, but I'm not sure. So believable, these two girls. And then Hugh Grant's character. Whew. Good luck reading him. Is he a sadistic monster, or is he, just this guy who's interested in religion to maybe an extreme, who's done some serious studying? You've just got to see the movie. But trust me when I say it turns into a horror fucking movie. Pardon my French. I think that was French. Was that French? No, that was German. My bad. So for jump scares, let's rate it. For jump scares, what are we going to give this movie? There were a couple of jump scares, but this movie is reserved. You've got maybe 3/4 of the movie that are like this insane, intense buildup. And it is a really good buildup without jump scares. But then we have this, third at the end where there are some jump scares. Not a lot of them, but there's a few. The ones that were done were well executed. I'll give it a 2 for jump scares. Nightmare fuel. Will this movie give you nightmares? If you're a door-to-door recruiter for your religious cult, for your religion, this may give you nightmares. I'll give it a 2 for nightmare fuel. It's not heavy nightmare, but there is a little bit of gore. A little bit. Not a ton, but there is gore, and there is one now. No spoilers. Yeah, I could have went there. Yeah, if I tell you anything about the gore, that's a plot spoiler, and I'm not doing that. No, go see it for yourself. So overall pumpkin meter, what are we going to rate this movie? I am going to give this horror movie 5 fresh pumpkins. This was a masterpiece for me. Maybe not for you, but for me, I loved it because this movie, it held me. And I felt like I was in the movie. And there are a couple of twists that you have no idea that are coming. And yeah, I was really impressed with this movie. So I will give this 5 pumpkins. It was that great of a movie. So we've covered 1. Now let's move into the next movie for 2024 that had a religious theme. And I say religious lightly because the basis for the character in the next movie is satanic. And we're talking about the movie Longlegs. I don't know about you guys, but I was hyped for this movie. I had seen a few movies with Nicolas Cage that were really good. Mandy's, that Five Nights at Freddy's kind of spinoff. What was the name of that? That was, Willy's Wonderland. Yeah, I even did a review for that. Nicolas Cage has put out some really great stuff. So I was hyped for this. I was like, wow, this is going to be a creepy, creepy horror. The trailer really didn't give much for this movie. Highly anticipated. I did not see it in the theaters, and then I started seeing the reviews come in, and I'm thinking, oh, this maybe not be a movie that I'm interested in. Some people were calling it this major slow burn, but then some people were loving it. Anyway, I just recently got around to watching it, and I will say this. It was an absolute letdown. It was a bore fest for me. I found myself dozing off repeatedly, over and over. Longlegs, you really let me down. Nicolas Cage's character, all right, we'll just go straight into what I did like about the movie. Okay, Nicolas Cage, I liked his character, but you don't see his character very much in this movie.
Almost birthday girl. Oh, but it seems I wore my long legs today. What happens if I...
Very little. His initial intro, and then later he's there for, I don't know, maybe a minute or two. And then there's a couple of cutbacks to him. His screen time is so minimal in this movie, and I will keep this spoiler free. his on-screen time that he had was cool, but I was not scared by his character in the slightest. But then again, I'm a werewolf and there's not a lot that scares me. Nicolas Cage, I did think his character had this little creepiness to it, but yeah, nothing fantastic. What else did I like about this movie? The cinematography was broad. It felt like, yeah, the cinematography was good, but who cares if there isn't a good script or if there isn't a plot that hooks the viewer? For me, and I can only speak for myself because I know a lot of people enjoyed this movie, I don't know why. It was so monotonous. It was so slow. I don't think there was one smile from any character in this entire movie. It was so dark. It was so sullen. It was so gray. It was so overcast. The acting was good if you like characters that feel like they hate their life and don't really know why they're living. That's truly how the characters in this movie seemed, especially for Lee Harker, the FBI agent following Longlegs or trying to solve the murders. There was no action. The little action that was in the movie was in the end, and it was very predictable in my opinion because we only had a limited group of characters, and we know one character is no longer around to do these murders, and we only have these other couple of characters left. Who is committing the murders? It was obvious. There was a great finale kind of as the movie was closing. But I'm sorry, I did not like this movie. I won't spoil the movie, but the entire movie revolved around these dolls that were being made by Longlegs, and they were crafted with a silver, well, maybe not made of silver, but a metal ball was in the head as like a brain. And in one of the scenes, this ball was smoking, and there are satanic elements and satanic references throughout the movie as the FBI agent Lee Harker is closing in and figuring everything out regarding Longlegs and the murders. It was just too slow of a burn for me. I need something with, some sort of action. I feel like 85% of this movie was just looking at Lee Harker, the main FBI agent's sullen face, sitting there just hating her life, meanwhile trying to solve a case. It just wasn't my thing. Let's go ahead and rate this movie. For jump scares, I'm going to give it a 1. There might have been a couple, but Longlegs himself really didn't provide any jump scares other than some creepy singing, which isn't quite scary. Move on down to nightmare fuel. Will this movie give you nightmares? For the right individual, maybe, but I'll give it a 2. Yeah, we'll give this one a 2 for nightmare fuel. I just don't see it. It'd give me nightmares if somebody told me I had to watch it 3 times in a row back to back. I will have extreme nightmares. Overall pumpkin rating, 0 is a disgusting, rotted, molding, gross pumpkin, all the way up to 5 fresh, beautiful pumpkins. For me, my entertainment value with this movie, I have to give this a 2. I can't give it a 1, even though it crossed my mind because it was just that boring for me, but the ending felt good and well choreographed. I did like the ending. So I'm giving it a 2. Sorry for those of you that like wait, no, I'm not sorry. It's how I feel. And if you don't like it, you can suck it. Okay, so that's it, guys. If you have to choose between Heretic and Longlegs, and you want a movie that's going to hook you and keep you, and you're going to walk away from it thinking, wow, that was kind of cool, Heretic, hands down. If you want to fall asleep and you've been an insomniac for a couple of weeks and you really need something that's going to let you get some sleep, throw on Longlegs. I guarantee you, you'll be asleep probably 45 minutes to an hour into it because nothing happens. So that is it. Sorry, Longlegs, you lost fair and square. Guys, if you made it to the end of this video, thank you for watching. If you liked it, please hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and on that note, I've got to go bake some cookies or bring some water down to the basement.
Oh.
Hello, ma'am. We're from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Oh, the Mormons.
That's right. I'm Elder Young, and this is Elder White.
Well, you two boys can just fuck right off.
Ma'am?
You heard me. Take that Book of Mormon and shove it so far up your righteous asses that you choke. You soul-soliciting pig fuckers.